Well, the Gujarat High Court today acquitted former BJP Minister Maya Kodnani in the 2002 Naroda Patiya Riots case, in which 97 people, all of them Muslims, were killed by a mob. This was in fact the worst incident of violence that took place in 2002 after the Godhra train burning. The court, however, upheld the conviction of former Bajrang Dal leader Babu Bajrangi in the same case. In 2012, Kodnani was convicted and sentenced to life in prison by a trial court for inciting a mob. That was based on the statement of 11 witnesses, and they had various statements to make, including some of them who had said that they had seen her even firing a pistol, brandishing a sword, etc. Well, today she has been let off and has been acquitted. Joining us on NDTV this evening, we have Rana Ayub, the author of the Gujarat Files, someone who knows the Maya Kodnani story very, very well. Here in the studio with us, Raghav Avasthi, who's a lawyer and member of the RSS. Rana, let me take this to you first. The court today said that of the 11 witnesses that were there that day, nobody actually named Kodnani when this riots case was being registered. Tell us what exactly the evidence was, and has this been a sort of a gross miscarriage of justice?
Well, Nidhi, to start with, I think the Maya Kodnani's acquittal speaks volumes about the criminal justice system. In 2012, the trial court under Justice Jyotsna Yagnik had called her the mastermind of the Naroda Patiya massacre. The verdict was based on 40 eyewitnesses that confirmed her presence at the space. Jyotsna Yagnik also said that the accused has proven to be the kingpin of and the principal conspirators of this carnage. And now this was Jyotsna Yagnik's verdict in 2012. Now between 2012, where she was the kingpin, to 2018, where she was acquitted, one needs to know what exactly has happened. Perhaps witnesses have turned hostile. Perhaps SIT has not investigated the case as watertight as it possibly should have been. But one also needs to understand, why was it that a trial court calls her the kingpin and later a high court acquits her? Another interesting fact, that today the same high court convicted Babu Bajrangi. Now Babu Bajrangi's one of the key evidences against Babu Bajrangi is a Tehelka sting operation which was done in 2007, and SIT has accepted this as evidence. Now, in this conversation, which indicts Babu Bajrangi, he and Richard, two VHP workers, are saying that Maya Bain was out on the streets. She was instigating the riots and rioters and telling them to do things because she was there to protect them. Now, if you convict Babu Bajrangi on the basis of this evidence and you let off Maya Kodnani, this is something that is beyond my understanding. Well, that you accept evidence in one case for one person, but let off the other person only because that person has political influence.
Well, that's quite a statement to make, Raghav. What Rana is basically saying is that she believes it is a miscarriage of justice.
So what I would really request everybody is that let's not make this political, since I'm also a lawyer. So I'll speak in my capacity as a lawyer first, right? And it is not at all, I'm not speaking from any partisan point of view. There are two very basic principles of the law of evidence. One is that in every case, the best evidence has to be taken into account. The other principle is, and it is something that is enshrined in common law jurisdictions throughout the world, not just India, which is that witnesses may lie, but circumstances don't. So now there is enough circumstantial evidence in the opinion of the Gujarat High Court to show that Maya Kodnani was at the Gujarat Assembly, and she could have actually not reached the scene of the crime in time, because there is, I think, there is footage of, there was a clock in the background. So to say, just to score political points and then to try and cast aspersions upon the integrity of the judiciary and then to, peddle conspiracy theories, it does not behove someone. Rana ji, please let me complete. No, I didn't interrupt. It does not behove somebody of the stature of Rana Ayub to say things like this. I would really urge her. I don't think she's a law graduate. Please
the trial court called her the kingpin. Okay, it talked about her leading a criminal conspiracy, and now there is this complete U-turn by the High Court. I mean, no one's casting aspersions on the judiciary, but certainly, one can question
Raghav,
verdicts.
I'm not casting aspersions on the integrity of the court or the judicial system at all. All I'm saying is, for the common man who is seeking justice, here is on one day the trial court calls her the kingpin, and 6 years later she is let off and acquitted, and the same evidence that is used to convict Babu Bajrangi is not used against her. I mean, this is quite surprising.
The first point
I don't
made,
understand
the first point I made is that in each and every case, Rana, please let me complete. I'm making a legal point. I'm not making a political point. Let me make a legal point, no, please. I said
no, I am also making a legal point, Raghav. It's not a political point. I'm making
let me make a legal point on the basis of whatever little law of evidence I have read.
The law has to be the same for every people.
Yes, exactly. No, you have to understand, you didn't get my first point. My first point was that the best evidence in each case has to be taken into account, and what is best evidence in this case or the other case would depend upon whether there is better evidence as far as the other case is concerned.
Witnesses had said they saw her firing a pistol. Witnesses, they said that they saw her brandishing swords.
That's the point I'm making.
And look at where we come today.
It's not just witnesses. There is another key evidence.
But this is not fair, Rana.
Rana, let him finish this point. Let him just finish this point.
Let me finish.
Let him finish this point. Let him finish this point. I'll come back to you.
The point is that wherever there is circumstantial, wherever there is conclusive circumstantial evidence available, direct evidence of witnesses comes on a much lower footing. However, in, let's say, it's not just the Babu Bajrangi case, had there been any other case where there would have been no circumstantial evidence, then of course we can set the utmost store by the testimony of the witnesses.
Okay, Rana.
But in this case, there is enough circumstantial
evidence. Is it just circumstantial,
Rana? Okay,
basic maxim of the law. So Raghav is saying it's circumstantial. Okay, you're saying it's too circumstantial. It could be. Rana, is it circumstantial?
Raghav, the SIT by its own confession. No, Raghav, by the SIT by its own confession has call records of Miss Maya Kodnani, in which she was in the Naroda Patiya area for 40 minutes when the riots were at its peak. So how does, I mean, I'm trying to understand from a legal point of view, Raghav. I mean, you're a lawyer. How does the same evidence which was valid in 2012 in front of the trial court just stands dismissed when the High Court is giving justice? I'm only trying to understand from a legal point of view.
Rana,
this is a valid evidence. This is the evidence in which, on the basis of which many cases criminals have been convicted. Call records is an important document.
Exactly. Call records are an extremely important document, but like I said, what is best evidence in one case might not be best evidence in another case.
But
so
in
this case, judgments are obviously judgments are overturned. Trial court judgments are overturned in appeal all the time. Not just in this case. I mean, we do that every day. We know what happens, and then you go to the Supreme Court. Sometimes the trial court judgments are reinstated.
I have one quick last question for Rana. Rana, let's Naroda Patiya was the worst post-Godhra massacre that we saw that took place back in 2002. If you look at the status of all the other cases as well, the fact is that all these years later, we're actually nowhere close to closure or justice. And that's not just true of Gujarat, that's actually true of so many riot cases across India.
Absolutely. I mean, there are not just riot cases, Nidhi. Look at the fake encounters cases. There is controversy after controversy. Judges are rescuing themselves ever since the SIT was formed and the CBI investigative team was formed in the fake encounters case. Just 3 days ago, I was reading in a newspaper that another witness in the Tulsiram Prajapati case turns hostile, and in another case, a witness has braved, and he's been really brave. He has come out and said it's a fake encounter, but he fears for his life. These are the circumstances in which, I mean, even when judges rescue themselves, how do you blame the witnesses? And there seems to be the prevalent atmosphere wherein all the cases, whether it's the fake encounter cases or the Gujarat riot cases, there does not seem to be a semblance of justice anywhere. And with all of these, especially with today's verdict, it has in a way consolidated that opinion that a lot of people in Gujarat, especially those who are seeking justice, have formed, and it has been validated.
Well, I'm actually out of time, Raghav. You have 10 seconds.
One last point that I would like to make is that I was reading somewhere that this is the same judge who has convicted a lot of Hindu rioters for some incident that took place in Viramgan, I think when he was a trial court judge. So I think it's really unfortunate to, somehow make everything political, whatever the judiciary does. And I think this is the thin end of the wedge, because we are going the Pakistan way. If we all become purveyors of conspiracy theories, if we keep purveying conspiracy theories all the time, then we will literally become another Pakistan.
You have not been able to answer any facts that I've put in front of
you. I gave you two legal maxims.
I would urge people
I'll lend you my digest on the law of evidence. Please read it. I'll
All
mark
right.
the relevant pages for you.
All right, thank you to all
That's
the
to
judgment.
both
You
of
gave
you
me
for joining
generic,
us.
you
I
did not
would
give
urge people to
specific.
go back and
Yeah.
read what the case was against Maya Kodnani, why this order today by the High Court has generated so much controversy. Do have a look at what exactly that evidence was against her. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.